Hi, good evening, everyone. We're just waiting a couple of moments to let everyone in. Thank you all for being here today for the virtual parent advisory meeting on behalf of Queensborough President Donovan Richards. Hi, good evening, everyone. We're just waiting a couple of moments.
Okay, we are streaming on YouTube.
Good evening, parents. It's wonderful to have you all here tonight. My name is Catherine Zapata, and I'm the Director of Education to Queensborough President Donovan Richards Jr. I'm excited to support the Borough President and his educational initiatives across our borough and beyond. From our office, we want to express our gratitude and appreciation. We understand how important and instrumental parent engagement is in making sure our students are receiving the holistic education they all deserve. Towards the end of this meeting, we'll have a question and answer portion, so please feel free to insert any questions for the School Construction Authority team in the chat box. Our office will also have a feedback form that you can all complete towards the end. Now, I would like to introduce Borough President Donovan Richards, who will make opening remarks.
Thank you, Kat, and welcome to each and every one of you. I want to thank you for being here tonight. It is so wonderful to have an event full of parents who are invested in their children's lives, communities, and well-being among their daily responsibilities. So you all are superheroes to us. We know this is a busy time, but I want to make sure you all know that your children are certainly our priority day in and day out. Until that tune, we've allocated now, Nina, I think $53 million out of our capital budget to schools across Queens, 30 million of that this fiscal year. And what I'm really proud about is I'm in the car because I'm just leaving Scholars Academy, which we cut the ribbon on another hydroponics lab, which is you'll hear a lot more about over the course of the next few weeks, our priorities and making sure that we build out hydroponic labs around the borough. So I hope that each and every one of you are doing well. And we, of course, tonight we want to know the importance of your thoughts. And of course, we want to give you an opportunity to have a safe space to talk about your concerns right here so as well. And as a parent myself of a public school student, I want our priorities to ensure that no one has to leave this borough to get a quality education. If this is your first time joining one of our parent advisory board meetings, mission by public school parents an opportunity to be heard on education issues and concerns, but to also keep them apprised of changes within the education landscape. These meetings are open to the public, especially any and all parents with children in the public school system. You should also know what's going on related to your child's education, point blank, period. Am I losing? Yeah, I didn't lose you, right? So my director of education, Kat Zapata, will be here to take any questions, comments, or concerns. Please do not hesitate to reach out to her. She is here to serve you just as I am. Today we have a packed session, so I would like to formally introduce and welcome Nita Kabuta, the president of the School Construction Authority and the largest School Construction Authority team, who will share with us a presentation on their Queens Capital Plan for fiscal years 25 to 2029. And we were just out at August Martin High School last week, breaking ground on a $59 million new Olympic-sized track and field with a whole lots of bells and whistles. So I'm truly grateful for not only the partnership Nina has provided here, but certainly addressing many of the issues around inequities, and more importantly, school seats, which we love to talk about and advocate for right here in the borough. So I'm truly excited about our continued partnership and what the future holds truly for the students of our borough in partnership with the SCA. And of course, I will have more to announce in the coming months on our path to supporting our communities that have been historically disenfranchised, but I know that has been at the top of the agenda for Nina as well. So I want to welcome you and your team, who's been phenomenal. I often say that SCA is one of the best agencies, and I don't say that lightly, in terms of when we put our money in, they move projects. I'm extremely proud of the work that we do with each and every one of them. And it's not just me, my colleagues and the council concur, who we partnership with a lot, do work with in partnership a lot as well. And that's not to be taken lightly. So I want to thank you, Nina. Feel free to take it away from here. And of course, thank you to your entire team. It's really been a joy working with you all for the past 20 years, but certainly as BP. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Borough President. Before I have some opening remarks, I just want to acknowledge the team, Karen Marr, Chief of Staff, Andrea Bender, Vice President of External Affairs, and you will be hearing from Ben Goodman. Oh, sorry, Yvette, I didn't see that you joined. Sorry, Yvette Knight, Director of External Affairs, and you will be hearing from both Ben Goodman and Danielle Schaff tonight regarding this presentation. So again, thank you. And good evening. And thank you to Borough President Richards and his team for inviting the SCA this evening. And thank you to everyone for joining. The Borough President is a true champion of schools, as he said, and a key partner for the SCA. I can't say enough about how fortunate and grateful we are to have a Borough President who is such an advocate for our kids. In a few moments, I mentioned I'll turn things over to both Ben and Danielle, who have a detailed presentation on our capital plan to share with you. But before I do that, I want to take a moment to talk about all the great work the SCA team has done and is still doing throughout Queens. You heard the Borough President talk about seats. It is no secret that schools across the borough have long been overcrowded. But in the past decade, we have opened 52 buildings with more than 27,000 seats in Queens. And we're not done. We have nearly 15,000 seats in progress in another 25 buildings. That really is historic. Also, of that, more than 9,000 are in much needed high school seats. In that same time frame, we've also added 6,000 early childhood seats for our youngest learners in 50 buildings across Queens. This September, we'll open 6 new schools in 5 Queens districts. The Borough President is right when he says that Queens gets the seats. Of course, it's not only new buildings that we focus on. Since 2019, we have invested nearly $2 billion in existing buildings across the borough, with an emphasis on keeping our buildings watertight, and in a state of good repair for future generations of school children. I'm also very proud to say that we are down to only 3 transportable classroom units remaining in 2 locations in Queens. Those are those trailers that sit in schoolyards. Again, 3 in 2 locations. This has been an intense area of focus for us over the past decade, and our work here is a testament to your collective advocacy. Our work in Queens, of course, goes on. Just last week, as the BP just mentioned, we broke ground on a nearly $60 million renovation to the athletic field and field house at August Martin High School, a project that has been near and dear to both the Borough President and Council Speaker Adrian Adams. I want to thank the Borough President and all of you again for joining this evening and for your advocacy on behalf of our schools. Ben, do you want to start sharing?
Sure. Thank you, Nina. Just 1 second. I'm going to share my screen. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ben Goodman, External Affairs Manager for Queens North. I'm here at the School Construction Authority. So at tonight's meeting, we will discuss an overview of the February 2023 amendment to the SCA's fiscal 20 through 2024 capital plan. Within that, we're going to go through a couple of quick plan highlights, as well as discussing the capacity program. Capacity is anything the SCA does to bring on new school seats. Across the borough, we built, as President Kabuta mentioned, numerous additions, annexes, and brand new standalone buildings. And we'll take a look as to those projects that are within the current fiscal 20 through 2024 plan, as well as discussing our capital improvement projects. Capital improvement is anything the SCA does to keep our buildings in a state of good repair. Lastly, we'll also discuss the Resolution A program. These are specific grants from either city council members, our borough president, Donovan Richards, or in some cases from our state elected officials. And lastly, we'll discuss the MWLBE program. And we'll also then get into specifics for the new 5-year capital plan, taking us out to fiscal 2029. And within that, discussing a couple of plan highlights as well as proposed capacity program. And of course, taking questions and comments from parents, advocates, and other audience members who are here with us this evening. So the February 2023 amendment to the SCA's 5-year capital plan. A couple of very quick highlights, approximately 7.95 billion for capacity. These are new school seats that the SCA brings online, and we'll take a look at what that means for Queens in a couple minutes. On continuing the accessibility program with $750 million. This is full and partial accessibility. Continuing the electrification program of 400 million to reduce our schools' buildings' use of carbon, and continuing technology with approximately $1 billion. And lastly, a TCU removals and playground redevelopment, approximately 317 million in funding. So the total 2020 through 2024 capital plan is approximately $19.4 billion. With capacity is approximately 7.95 billion. Again, that is anything the SCA does to bring new school seats online across the borough and across our city. Capital improvement, these are major school improvement projects such as new windows, new roofs, things of that nature to keep our buildings watertight. The last category is mandated. It's approximately 3.47 billion. Mandated is anything the SCA is required to do pursuant to state or local law or any court decisions. So a quick example of that from previous years is the work to remove PCBs. So in terms of capacity, there's a couple of different programs within the current capital plan. A new capacity, new schools that the SCA brings online, either with an addition to an existing building or an annex or a new standalone school. Replacement, the next category, that's in specific instances where the SCA is in a lease facility and needs to relocate the students and staff into a new facility, or the building itself is past its useful life and needs to be completely replaced with a new facility. A class size reduction, approximately $605 million. Capacity to remove transportable classroom units or TCUs, approximately $267 million. This is a special program for some of the remaining TCUs where the only way to remove them and still provide us school seats for our students is to build new capacity. And lastly, early education, approximately $756 million. These are the standalone 3K and pre-K centers. So Queens capacity, we've been very hard at work here at the SCA with providing new school seats. This is a chart walking us through each of the districts 24 through 30, with new school seats and projects that are going to be opening. A couple of quick examples of projects opening this September: the addition of PS 32 in District 25, the addition to PS 169 in District 25, as well as the annex for PS 85 in District 30. So these are some renderings and pictures of our new capacity projects. This is a PS at 6902 Queens Boulevard. This is a rendering of the facility in District 24. The new addition for PS 169 in Bay Terrace, again opening this September. The addition of PS 41 in Bayside, also opening this September, as well as the PS 96 addition in District 27. In Queens South, we have the addition to PS 160 in South Jamaica, as well as the PS 116 edition in Hollis. And in District 30, the PS 85 Annex, that's anticipated to open this September. So in terms of high school capacity, we do have a brand new high school facility opening up next September, September 2025, with 3,066 new high school seats located at 5316 Northern Boulevard in Woodside. This is the biggest project in the history of the School Construction Authority. We're quite proud of it. We also have additional high school facilities opening the next couple years as well. High school 165th Street and Hillside Avenue in Jamaica, opening September 2026 with approximately 876 new seats, as well as a high school at the former St. Agnes site in Whitestone on 124th Street, anticipated to open September of 2027 with 599 new seats. This is a rendering on the upper left of the new high school on Hillside Avenue, as well as the rendering underneath. On the right side of my screen, this is the new high school on Northern Boulevard in Woodside that's in construction, and that's anticipated to open next September, September 2025. So in terms of capital improvements, we'd just like to spend a brief minute or so explaining how a project becomes a capital improvement project within the SCA's five-year capital plan. So the SCA every year does a building condition assessment survey. We send inspectors to do roof to cellar inspections of all the building system units across all the buildings across the city. And that report is placed on the website for each individual DOE school organization. Within the report, each building system is ranked. We'll take the report into consideration of making sure that the items that are marked as immediate need of repair and urgent get funding priority. We also receive reported issues from our colleagues at the Division of School Facilities, as well as any mandated repairs. The Resolution A program, that is funding from elected officials. We'll discuss in a couple minutes, as well as requests from our colleagues in the community education councils across the city. So the list on the right gives examples of various projects that are considered capital improvements, such as auditorium upgrades, gymnasium upgrades, accessibility work, window replacement, and work to keep our buildings watertight. So we're going to take a look through some couple of quick highlights for our districts across Queens. On District 24, there's 25 school safety projects, as well as 19 projects updating the heating plants across the district. For District 25, is 13 up projects for electrical systems, as well as 17 projects for school safeties, and 6 boiler conversion projects. District 26, there's 4 climate control projects, 16 toilet upgrades for our students, and 7 heating plant upgrades. District 27, 17 heating plant upgrades, couple of cafeteria multipurpose room upgrade projects, and accessibility work, to name a few. District 28, there's accessibility work, as well as climate control, domestic piping, and science lab upgrades, as well as upgrades to the toilet facilities for students. And a couple quick examples of capital improvement projects across the borough. This is PSIS 119 in Glendale, an exterior modernization. Boiler conversion at PS 79 in College Point. a room conversion at Ryan Junior High School, 216 in Fresh Meadows, as well as a boiler replacement at Junior High School 202. So for District 29, there's 5 accessibility projects and 10 exterior masonry and flood elimination projects. And for District 30, there's 11 projects to upgrade electrical systems, 2 auditorium upgrades, and 18 school safety upgrades. CCPS 144, exterior modernization work at District 28. PS 118, the exterior modernization roof and parapet work in District 29. And District 38, PS 17, the boiler replacement and climate control project. So in terms of high schools and capital improvement projects we're doing in our high schools, there's 16 cafeteria multipurpose room upgrade projects, 16 upgrades to the heating plant system, as well as a couple of projects for school improvement and restructuring, and 7 low voltage electrical system upgrades. We are doing work at Grover Cleveland High School, exterior masonry and exterior door replacement, as well as a water infiltration project at Middle College High School. Now, we'd like to spend a minute discussing the Resolution 8 program. This is a great program that provides specific capital improvement or enhancement projects, and these are actually funded by your local elected officials. As your city council member, your borough president, or sometimes state elected officials. So a couple of very quick examples could be projects that are funded through the Resolution 8 program, or library upgrade, playground upgrades, upgraded toilet facilities, and we've done very interesting things such as hydroponic labs. This example here is actually a moot court classroom that was funded by our elected officials in the new annex for Benjamin Cardozo in Bayside. So in terms of resume highlights, for District 24, there have been 15 auditorium upgrades, as well as 10 playground redevelopment projects. District 25, 19 auditorium upgrades, work to install air conditioning split system units, IP surveillance cameras, and science lab upgrades. For District 26, work to provide upgrades to our gymnasium, libraries, and science labs. For District 27, air conditioning split system units were funded at 2 schools, work on auditorium upgrades, library upgrades, and room conversions or partitioning. This is example of a auditorium upgrade at PS 119 in Glendale. To the right of that is an ongoing project to improve the athletic field at Francis Lewis High School in Fresh Meadows, as well as a recently completed hydroponics lab at Village Academy in District 27. So these are examples that we can fund through our Resolution 8 program. One thing to note is that we do ask when folks, our parents or principals or students are interested in having a Resolution 8 project done at their school, they do ask us for a quote, as we'd like to provide a responsible budget for the school so they're aware of what a particular project might cost, and then they can ask their elected official for an appropriate amount of money. So for District 28, with 3 air conditioning split systems, 2 playground upgrades, 12 science lab upgrades, and 1 ventilation project. District 29, 7 auditorium upgrades, 8 library upgrades, and 4 projects to improve the toilet facilities for students. District 30, 5 playground upgrades, and a couple of library upgrades and gymnasium upgrades. Other examples are PS 52, a playground upgrade in District 29, a solar panel installation project, which is very interesting in District 30 at PS 122, as well as an auditorium upgrade at PS 117 in District 28. And for Queens High Schools, we've done quite a few auditorium upgrades through the Resolution A program, quite a number of technology projects, as well as gymnasium upgrades. This is a recording studio that we built out at the Young Women's Leadership Academy in Astoria, the picture on the upper left. An auditorium upgrade is next at the high school for construction trades, as well as the athletic field upgrade at Francis Lewis. And the bottom picture, a gym upgrade at Pan American High School. So I'd just like to spend a couple minutes discussing the MWLBE program. This is a great program as the SCA is dedicated to increasing participation of minority-owned, women-owned, and locally based business enterprises on all of our projects across the city. If you are aware of an MWLBE firm who would like to do business with the School Construction Authority, we do have a very robust business development team, and we love to meet with folks to discuss the program with them. To allow them to work to improve New York City public schools. We're always happy to meet with the prospective MWLBA contractors. It's a very good program, and we also run a mentor program which provides key support and access to capital and business opportunities for qualified emerging MWLBEs. If you do know of a firm who might be interested in joining the SCA's MWLBE program, feel free to get in contact with us, and we'll be happy to get that firm in touch with our business development team. So in fiscal 23 citywide, we've awarded approximately $1 billion in prime MWLB contracts across 820 projects to approximately 139 firms. And with that, the mentor program awarded approximately $144 million in MWLB contracts across 248 projects to 106 firms. So we're very proud of our work with the MWLBE program. And at this time, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Danielle Schaaf, to discuss the proposed 5-year capital plan for fiscal years 25 through 2029.
Thank you so much, Ben. Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to continue with our plan that we're moving into. So the numbers that you see will be different. And I just wanted to make note that our plan is a living plan. So it will be added to and changing as we go throughout the next couple of years. We are starting off our capital plan for 25 to 29 with a budget of $17 billion. Similarly to what we saw from Ben, we see that our capacity portion is going to have a pot of almost $5 billion. Our Healthy Schools Initiative, $2.25 billion. Capital improvements will be at $6.37 billion, and our mandated programs at $3.4. Some of our proposed 25 to 29 city highlights on our new capacity, $4.13 billion. Our electrification projects, we have a pot of $1.4 billion. Technology projects at $1.25 billion. Accessibility, we've budgeted out for $800 million. $325 million for physical education space upgrades, and $150 million for our cafeteria enhancement experience. Within our capacity program, the creation of new seats across our boroughs will be for $4.1 billion. Facility replacements, as Ben had mentioned earlier, places that need either a new lease or renewing a lease or finding a new location, $400 million. Early education program, $200 million, and $250 million for the capacity to remove our temporary structures, and then playground redevelopment once those structures are gone. Our Healthy School Highlights. So this is a very fun initiative that we have, and we're excited to pursue and continue to pursue it. We're going to continue to invest in electrifying our existing facilities and addressing failing boilers to provide clean and environmentally friendly facilities. We're looking to create health and nutrition learning spaces with a focus on underserved neighborhoods. We're having more funding allocated to the upgrade of athletic fields, pools, gyms, and playgrounds. We're going to continue implementation of successful programs such as the Cafeteria Enhancement Experience. Okay, so these figures are looking a little different from the slides that have been presented. Again, we're just in the infancy stages of our new capital plan, and these are what we have identified thus far. In District 25, we have identified site at 13731 45th Avenue for 696 seats, projected to open September of 2028. New site in District 27 at 12008 Jamaica Avenue for 696 seats, 96 of which will be for our District 75 component, also anticipated opening of September 28. We have another site in District 30 identified for a middle school at 4459 45th Avenue, total of 599 seats, also projected to open September 28. Sorry, y'all, hold on one second. Thank you. We have in District 24, what you're seeing in front of us are the capacity improvement projects we've identified so far. These numbers will grow, I promise. Our cafeteria and multi-purpose room upgrades, we have 3 of them identified so far at a cost of $1.3 million. We have 2 flood elimination projects at $4.5 million. 2 parapet projects over $8 million, a playground at 1.8, school safety projects, as well as a kitchen area upgrade. Some of our District 25 highlights that we have already identified moving forward in the next plan. 1 electrification project. It is going to cost $15 million for this in the building. We have 6 exterior masonry projects totaling over $32 million. Flood elimination, 5 different schools, over $8 million. 5 parapet projects, over $14 million. We also will be performing roof replacement projects at 3 different sites at almost $9.5 million, and 2 window replacement projects at almost $6 million. District 26 highlights. So here you see again, we have our electrification projects. 2 of those in this district are identified at over $14 million. Some exterior masonry projects, but that goes hand in hand sometimes with our parapet replacement and repairs, as well as roofs and windows. District 27, some of the highlights that we have identified so far. We're seeing a student toilet project for $129,000. We have a couple of roof projects at over $12 million. Flood elimination, 5 of those at almost $10 million. 2 exterior masonry projects at almost $16 million. Cafeteria multipurpose room upgrade, 2 of those at $885,000. As well as some playground project and school safety upgrades. District 28, so far we've identified 8 school safety projects at over $2 million. Exterior masonry project at over $5 million. 4 flood eliminations at just over $8 million. 2 parapet projects coming in at close to $8 million. And a 1 roof project replacement project at 2.4. we'll take a look at some of our District 29 highlights here. We've identified 2 sites for exterior masonry and roof replacement. Exterior masonry is of 12.5 million, roofs at over 7.8 million. We have 8 school safety projects identified here in this District 29, 1 cafeteria project, as well as parapet replacement. For District 30, some of our highlights we've identified so far. We have a low voltage electrical system upgrade at 3.2 million, a playground renovation upgrade at 2.1, school safety project, as well as 3 cafeteria multipurpose room upgrades. So we're just getting started on the 25-29 capital plan. Some of the high school highlights that were already identified. We have 2 roof projects for our high schools in Queens at over 10 million, 2 parapet projects at over 17 million. We have flood elimination project at 8.8, 2 of those, 10 cafeteria multipurpose room upgrades at close to 4.5 million, and 2 kitchen projects at over 1 million, 1 low voltage at almost 6 million. On this slide, you'll find our information of our team that's on with you tonight. We have our Vice President, Andrea, our Director of External Affairs, Yvette, myself, Danielle Schaff, and Ben Goodman. We are the External Affairs Managers for both Queens South and Queens North. We also have included our colleague, Massis. He is our colleague who does a lot of communications with our principals regarding quotes on the reso projects that they're seeking for their schools. But all of us are able to help you. Ben and I are more than happy to help direct the principals over to our colleagues in Reso and answer any questions that they may have on that or active construction projects that are ongoing within your districts. That concludes our presentation. I'd like to turn it back over to Catherine. You can let us know how you'd like to proceed with questions or if you have some.
That sounds great. Thank you, Danielle and Ben, and to the all SCA team. We greatly appreciate you all being here and going through your presentation and explaining to the parents what they should anticipate in the coming years. Before we go to the question and answer portion, I just want to introduce Queensborough Hall's Director of Budget, Iraq. Iraq, if you want to say a couple words before we go into the question and answer portion. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Kat. Hello, everyone. My name is Iraq Chehansky. I'm the Budget Director for the Queensborough President. I oversee the application process from our schools for RESO-A funding. So I have the pleasure to work with your principals through the years, now 2 years now, and I love to see, right now what we're doing here is trying to envision our process in a way that we can streamline communication with our PTAs as well in Queens, so you can be more aware of the process. We're visiting all our current operations, so in the next few months we'll be coming back with some more information on how we are re-envisioning the execution of these funding. Yeah, so that's all I have to say for now. Thank you so much, SCA, as always. The VP said it, the best agency to work with, hands down, and I look forward to continuing to work with you all.
Thank you so much, Iraq. So parents, we welcome any questions, please, in the Q&A portion down below in your screen. My colleague and I, Tarika, will be reading through the questions. Okay, I think we can start with the first one I have here on my screen. It says, is there an appetite to build new schools The 30th Avenue School was founded 10 years ago and has since lived split in two different locations, PS 17 and IS 126. Having a new location for it would enable more efficient management, reduce the amount of space used for administrative positions, and help the push to meet the Class Reduction Size Act.
Yes, so there is, of course, an appetite to build new schools, and we are building new schools across the borough. Just to note is that the SCA, we're the construction folks, so we don't decide which actual DOE school organization goes in each new school building. That's something that the DOE decides.
Great. Thank you, Ben.
The next question that I see on my screen is, where do schools get help fixing a playground? Like, what is the steps in the process in that?
Okay. So there's a couple of different ways a school would be able to get their playground repaired or renovated. The first way would be that it is a very fun project for a Resaway possibility that can be built up over a year or two, a couple of years until the funding is. But there also is, as Ben mentioned, we have an annual BCAS or Buildings Condition Assessment inspections that we perform. So we do also look to produce capital projects or capital improvement projects rather, based off of a playground's BCAS rating. So there's two different ways that they can do that. So if the rating is poor on a playground, like a number 5, which is on our scale as being a poor rating or in bad condition, then that project would most likely become an SCA capital improvement project shortly. If a BCAS report for us is like a 3 or a 2, then we feel that the condition is not so critical to be repaired, and it would be a very good potential Resaway project to expedite the renovation of that playground.
Yeah, and if I may, to complement, complement a little bit on our end. Every year in January, we open our application for schools to apply for these type of projects. And usually the application is open through this year wasn't through March 1st, I believe. So we have a couple of times for schools to put these projects together. So make sure that your principals check our website. I'm gonna put it here so everyone can see it. Every end of the year or every January, we'll have updated information on the process.
Great. Thank you, Danielle and Iraq, for elaborating. SCA, could you maybe explain, if a school has been given money to fix something like bathrooms, why does it take over 5 years to have the bathrooms redone and the process behind that?
It shouldn't take that long to have the bathrooms redone. If the person asking the question could perhaps put the school where that is taking place into the chat or share with the borough president's office, we'll look into that to get a status update on the project.
Thank you. I have a question, and you guys can let me know because I don't know the answer off the top of my head. Is there any coordination between SCA and DOE to help with compliance with the class size law? I guess that's what it's supposed to say. Is there any coordination going on, or is this strictly a DOE question?
So there is coordination that's been ongoing between Department of Education, our colleagues at Department of Education, and the School Construction Authority. We, SCA, are working with the Department of Education to determine the final, the response to the final working group recommendations.
Thank you. And the person had a specific District 28 question. And I'm not sure if you guys know that off the top of your head, or if this is something that we need to circle back with them on. They said the students in District 28 want to be able to go to elementary schools, want to be able to attend those schools and travel. And I don't know if you guys have the numbers for those schools right now in that district.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat the question?
They are looking for specific District 28 numbers because there's a concern in that specific district, and I'm not I don't know if you guys have specific numbers about District 28 tonight.
Regarding recently created capacities, or?
How many, like if there were additional school seats in that district?
Okay, so in general, regarding what we've opened in respect to new buildings, I can definitely get those figures for you shortly. We've opened a lot of new additions within District 28 in the past few years.
Okay, so in the meantime, we'll go to another question.
Thank you. It seems like there are a couple of parents who are pushing for a new location to unify Q300. They're here to support the unification of all Q300s grade levels under one roof. If ever a new building is built on behalf of DOE, SCA, and is short on seats, our school could fill, which has 513 seats and currently split between two building blocks apart. Thank you. So I'll definitely send this inquiry over to the SCA team. Thank you. It seems like there's a question here for Iraq. Do school principals directly request to Iraq Reso 8 funding, or does Iraq reach out to the schools?
Yes, so this is a mix of both. I received the projects because it's an open public application for public schools. But we also, through the department, we always set up training at the beginning of the year where we invite principals to join. We reach out to the whole database that we have at the office, so everyone should have received that invitation on their email.
Thank you, Iraq. Schools are in need of heating and air conditioners. How is funding determined to address projects, and which schools are a priority?
Okay, so regarding air conditioning, there was just a borough-wide initiative, mayoral initiative, in which we had provided the electrical outlets needed, as well as air conditioning window units in all instructional classrooms. Our partners at DSF and us and SCA work together to accomplish that mandate. Moving forward, if there are additional air conditioning needs, if we're talking, there's a couple different variables here. I don't know if you're referring like for specifically to air conditioning auditorium, or perhaps a gymnasium or a cafeteria. Those types of spaces typically need a split unit system, which is capitally eligible for Reso 8 funds. And our principals are more than encouraged to reach out to us for quotes and pricing regarding how much a project like that would cost for Reso 8. If it's regarding replacement of window units, that is not something SCA or DSF is still doing. That was a mandate or initiative that was completed already. So moving forward, it would be for the schools to go ahead and do replacements there. Regarding heating, so we are going through boiler upgrades and replacements across the boroughs. We know that in some of the older buildings, there's inconsistencies in temperatures, and we are working to address those needs with new pneumatic controls, as well as boiler replacements. I hope that answers the question. If it doesn't, please feel free to ask me something more specific and I'll be happy to address it.
Thank you, Danielle. And also feel free to follow up with us if there are any questions. I will put my email as a follow-up for all parents who wish to contact us. We have a parent who asks, what is supposed to happen when the AC unit and the outlet plug do not match?
So if that's at this point an existing condition, I'm not quite sure why it would be, because we just ran a program where we made sure that every air conditioning window unit, if it didn't have one, I'm sorry, let me rephrase, let me restart rather. If a classroom didn't have a dedicated outlet, then part of the initiative was to ensure that that classroom did have a dedicated outlet that would be compatible with a window unit. If the school already had window units that had outlets, that might not have been something that was flagged. But I think if this is a problem or a situation, the way I would suggest is to perhaps speak to the principal to address it with them, or the custodian, to see if we could start there with getting a proper outlet match. Then the custodian will be able to escalate that within Division of School Facilities, who provide the maintenance on the buildings, and they will be able to help address that.
Great, thank you, Danielle. There's a question on if a PA/PTA is a 501c3, can we receive grants from the Queensborough President's Office for our residency programs?
So our office does have expense funding for 501c3s. However, I don't think it will be enough to cover that type of program. Our grants are given in the range of $1,000 to $5,000, because we do not receive a different pot of money to allocate for expense. That's money that we take out of our expense, our operating budget directly. So our grants are much smaller and are not sufficient to operate that type of program. But you're welcome to visit our webpage and apply for expense funding.
Okay, the next question is, are all school cafeteria kitchens outfitted with air conditioners?
Hi, I'm sorry, I will see if we can say this properly here for everyone. So currently, not all kitchens within the 5 boroughs of DOE are fully air conditioned or air conditioned via window units. Regarding the outlets there, that would be a school specific question. I don't have the information for that. That would be something that would reside with our colleagues at Division of School Facilities.
So Danielle, if I may, so the DOE is surveying all the kitchens for air conditioners, and they are doing. Remember, the window units are not capitally eligible, so they're actually installing window air conditioners. The second tranche will be sort of split systems if we can install. So we are aware of of needing to air condition the kitchens, especially in light of our kitchen workers. So both the DOE and the SCA are undertaking that survey and compliance as we speak.
Great, thank you, Danielle and Nina. Our next question is, why are schools getting hydroponics labs instead of aquaponics labs?
A lot of that has to do with the specific requests that the schools make of us as part of the Resolution 8 program. Also, it might be that in some cases, one type of lab is easier to create and build out on the specific school property due to unique circumstances of the building.
There are a lot of air conditioner unit questions, so here is another one for you all. I hope that you can answer. In a school that uses separate units in every room, how long before each unit is replaced? Is there a time frame?
So that's a great question. Unfortunately, I think that's an end user, how many hours it's being used. Some teachers, I believe, keep them on more often, more frequently. South side, southern exposure, more heat, more sun on one side of the building, etc. I think that in our experience, the window units do have a nice nice lifespan on them. But I think that that particular question can again best be answered by your own school's custodian.
Great, thank you, Daniel. The next question is regarding the middle school application. Can this process start from the 7th grade, because this helps students and parents to familiarize themselves with the environmental factors and everything schools has to offer a year in advance? So thank you for that question. Unfortunately, that doesn't go under our office jurisdiction, but we can definitely elevate that to the larger New York City central office.
I think that is the end of our questions.
All right, make sure we do last call so nobody could say we didn't answer the questions. So any other questions?
There's a question in the chat about school safety agents, and I'm going to type you Kat Zapata's email because SEA is not in charge of the school safety agent. So
What's the question on school safety agents?
they said for PS 169 in District 25, is another safety agent a part of the expansion project that's going to open in September 2024? And how is the number of safety agents determined in a specific location?
All right, yeah, that's I don't want to give the wrong answer, but if you have a request, we can take a look at it, because that varies, and also it depends on if we're even hiring school safety agents. And I know there's been a challenge in keeping or graduating classes in this space. So it's sort of hard to project at the moment. But we can get back to you on that question.
Great, thank you, BP and Tarika. BP, do you have any last words before I close this out?
Sure. All righty. So, hold on 1 second. I'm looking crazy out here. No light. But let me just add that, we're doing Reso A now. So you met Iraq. If there are any challenges or if you have any requests in your specific schools, you should definitely get that over to Iraq. And I think are we finished doing Reso A applications?
Yes, the deadline was March 1st.
Right. But if there are any dire conditions that your school has, we need to have that. And I love SEA talking about their budget as well, because we're not the only ones with a budget. So I took notes, SEA.
Good.
Yeah.
Sure you did.
I love seeing especially the capital B. I love seeing that behind some of your stuff. So if there are needs, we need to know it. Don't assume we know. And you should be talking to your school body to make sure that they're aware. And also just in terms of scoping projects, like we need to get accurate information. So a lot of times people come to us, or some schools will come and say, hey, it's $1 million for, I don't know, a slide. Like we need to have accurate information. So working with SCA, with your school body, that's critical. But once again, we're going to continue to fund schools in a big way. We're at 53 million in our office, a drop in the bucket compared to SEA's budget. But we are working in consultation with your council members as well. So critical for you to talk to us, to talk to your city council partners, because a lot of times we'll try to partner with them on specific needs, on projects. And then we should also be talking to the SCA about tapping into some of their specific initiative money that they have as well. So yeah, so that's it. And don't be shy in reaching out to Kat Zapata. I want to once again welcome her and thank her for all the work she'll do. And also our PEP rep, I'm not sure if Shirley is still on, but we can give her a moment to say hi as well, because she's getting around to a lot of the schools specifically as well. So, you know, we're going to continue to hone in on the school seats. We know we have the small class size law that was passed. So I'm very encouraged by SCA expanding school seats, but we know we're going to need a lot more, because we'll see a lot more growth in Queens than in any borough in the city over the course of the next 2 decades. And if you don't believe me, just look at the housing growth, look at the investment, look at transportation investment. So we project and predict that we're going to definitely need more school seats as we move forward. But I do want to thank, once again, SCA. We have bragging rights in Queens that more school seats are being built here than any other borough, but we know that we still do have severe overcrowding in specific community school districts. So we look forward to the work on that, and want to thank once again Kat Zapata, Iraq, thank the SCA and their team who've been phenomenal working with us. I know there was a question about bathrooms, but I will say anything we fund, SCA moves. And if it's not moving fast enough, there's actually a real reason that it's not. We encounter a lot of agencies that we can't say the same thing for. So I want to thank Nina for joining us and her team. Thank you, Ben, and everyone, Danielle, for your presentation. And that'll be it. See you next time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, VP, and thank you everyone for being here tonight. I have included my email here in the chat, and then also a feedback form. This will also be sent out via email, as well as SCA's presentation, hopefully by tomorrow. So thank you all, and I will definitely reach out with the next Parent Advisory Board meeting. And don't forget to spread the word out. So thank you all once again.
Kat, did you leave your email for everyone?
I did, yes.
All right, perfect. So she's going to get all 2,000 emails. We're gonna
Yep. Thank you. I'll put it once again.
Okay, we've got it. Jordan.
All right, I will end this and I'll end the live stream and send the email to you. Have a good night, guys.
Night, everyone.
Thank you guys. Good night.